for I to be a leader, can you positively impact people, influence people, decide how you're going to show up, maintain expectations, high standards and expectations, and can you protect?
On this episode of TLC Connections, GT Freeman sits down with Andre Young, speaker, author, leadership trainer, and founder of You Evolving Now. He talks about the mindset behind his 5 books, the launch of his new AI tool, Ask Andre, and how leaders can create meaningful impact both at work and at home. It's an inspiring conversation about leadership, growth, and what it truly means to evolve. We hope you enjoy the episode.
Welcome to TLC Connections, the podcast where educators, counselors, coaches, and community leaders come together to inspire change, one connection at a time.
Andre.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for coming in today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me. This is an awesome experience and beautiful, beautiful facility.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. We've worked very hard on it, and I appreciate that. So today's a big day for you.
Yeah.
So you have your 5th book coming out called Complete Leader, and you're releasing your AI tool called Ask Andre.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about both of those.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I've been writing for a long time. And the funny part, GT and you guys listening, is I didn't want to write or speak, and now I can't shut up and stop writing books. So that's a really true story. So years ago, a friend of mine said, listen, you're going to have a website. You're going to be doing this. You need to post for SEOs. I didn't even know what SEOs were.
Right.
And I begrudgingly took out my phone and a timer. How long is it going to take me to write this thing I don't want to do? At the time, it took 25 minutes. I said, okay, I can do that. Did that 3 times a week. And then it went to once a week. Now it's once every 2 weeks, just given my pace of life.
Right.
But that's become 5 books.
Wow.
And this 5th book took a lot out of me. Last November, I was finishing it up. My dad had a heart attack. My kids were home more than I expected because of the way the school days and vacation days set up. So this book, finishing that book, took a lot out of me. But I will say, for me, I'm biased. It's the best book I've ever written.
Okay. Yeah, I've talked to authors who, when they are on book 3, 4, 5, 6, they think back, oh, if I could go back and do book 1 over, because you're naturally going to get better as you go through each of the series. So
yeah, you become more of who you are.
Right.
And I feel like, and I should preface, like certain books are for a certain genre of people.
Right.
So that 7 Ways to Lead, that first book, is if you are a frontline employee that started yesterday up to a CEO, you could really, evolve in that book.
Right.
This last book, you have to be in some type of senior leader position, and I think that's for you. Whether you just got promoted to a frontline leader, up to CEO, this book is for you. And then the middle one, the toolbox, is kind of everybody within a manager, leader, director position. But it's the best book I've ever written, from first sentence to last sentence. And God, if you've written a book, I've read that book 15 times. I was so tired of that book.
Right.
But with travel, reading it on the plane as a customer, and it really stood out for me. And then Ask Andre. My team is, I feel like I can brag. I have the best team in the world, just absolutely amazing, small but mighty. And years ago, we came out with an app. And it was all about personal growth, relationship growth, give you quotes and questions. And it was really cool. However, it didn't address a leader or employee's leadership issue or problem of the moment in real time.
Yeah.
Okay. This takes all of my content from all of my books, all of my speaking engagements, all of my video, anything you've ever seen of me, it takes it. And whatever your leadership issue, whatever your employee issue, you can just ask it, and it gives you my content, not the world's content.
Right.
My favorite thing is the flow, though, to be honest with you.
Right.
I started training, I always say, or meeting, what's your positive of the week? So as a person that comes to this with a problem, doesn't always have to be problem-based, just like therapy.
Right.
Okay? But you come to it, it says, hey, what's your positive before we get started?
Right.
Makes people have gratitude.
Yeah.
Then it answers your question in bullet point form and then asks you, my favorite, would you like a script on how to talk to that person? And it just keeps going down the rabbit hole because just because you know what to say now or how to address your issue doesn't mean you know how to say it.
Right.
So I'm in love with it. Like I said, I'm biased, but it did launch today, and it's been really, really cool to watch people test it, and it changed their professional and personal lives.
Yeah. Well, at the end of this discussion, I'll ask you to tell the listeners and viewers how to access both the book and your other books and your AI tool. But I noticed that there's a common theme you've talked a lot about just in the first couple of minutes. You mentioned you use the word leader or leadership a lot.
Yeah.
So, and it sounds like all of your books are related to leadership in some form.
Yeah.
Where did the passion for leadership come from?
Wow. That's a great question. It wasn't on my radar at first, to be honest with you, or at least I thought. So when I first started a business, people think I got into my space of leadership and work-life harmony because I burnt out of a job. I talk about it on stage and in my videos a lot. And I was a mental health therapist. I worked in facilities like this and also psych wards and homes and things like that. And it was, I loved the work.
Mm-hmm.
And I burnt out as leadership changed, and I tell everyone now, you either stay or leave as an asset, never a liability. I didn't do that at first.
Okay.
So I learned a lot of lessons by burning out and doing a lot of things wrong. And although I was right about everything I was saying,
right,
I was so wrong about how often I said it, who I was saying it to, how I disconnected and flicked my wrist, my office door shut and just kind of barricaded myself in. Mm-hmm. So I learned a lot from that. But that wasn't what started the leadership journey. What started it really was a divorce. I went through a divorce almost 20 years ago. And that rocked me to my core financially, emotionally, life-wise.
Yeah, that's a traumatic experience in and of itself.
Interesting you say that.
Yeah.
During that time, GT, I was driving in a car and somebody or disc jockey on the radio said, if you've been through a crisis, tornado, earthquake, divorce, I said, oh my goodness, how they know? And they put that on that level of devastation and trauma.
Right.
And what I started was I said, listen, I wasn't the best husband in the world, but I also wasn't a daggone monster either.
Right.
So I created an organization for men. Whole purpose was that men can come and go home better. Well, that's leadership, isn't it?
Yeah.
Personal leadership. How we choose to show up to our life, our work, and our relationships in a way that makes people want to follow us and gives us a better life, and we become a beacon, right? But I didn't know I was talking about leadership.
Right.
So that continued to grow, and we had a women's division and youth division. We're on college campuses, and one day, because I wanted to be like the hair club president and the member, answer the questions, come up with the questions, enjoy the time. Right. And one day I stood up to make my point. And I never sat back down.
Right.
I stood up, sat down, stood up, sat down. One day, never sat back down.
Wow.
And I said, it's time to scrap this because to be successful, to make a massive impact, to be a massive success, at some point you have to choose to give up good for great. What I was doing was good, but we couldn't get enough traction because you're asking the average person to give up their own time and their own money to come do this thing.
Right.
And that's not what the average person does. So I took it to companies and I said, I want to do this. And that's where they said, well, how does this help us?
Right.
Oh, you want leadership.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was talking about leadership. All I did was go home and add the word leadership to it.
Right.
Boom. Took off. And then over the years, it's obviously evolved and I went down the rabbit hole more with leading teams and things like that.
Yeah. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into leadership. So there's no one definition of leadership. In fact, there's a scholar, academic person, I forgot the name. He made a famous quote about leadership. There are as many definitions of leadership as there are people who've attempted to define it.
Right.
How do you, Andre, define leadership?
I love the question again. I define it with 5 small but powerful words.
Okay.
For you, for us, for I to be a leader, can you positively impact people, influence people, decide how you're going to show up, Maintain expectations, high standards and expectations. And can you protect?
Sounds like the outline of a book.
It really, all my books. It really is.
Right.
It's like, so can you be of positive influence with how you show up? Do people want to be you? It is our job to sell our position to other people.
Right.
Why should somebody want to be you? Why should somebody want that job? Why should somebody want to get married? Why should your kid want to do your profession when they grow up? It's how we show up, the words we use, how we engage. Can you be of impact? Who are you going to coach and mentor? Leadership isn't just telling people what to do. Are you mentoring and coaching them, and you're marrying what you want to do with their why?
Yeah.
Protection. That's a huge word that gets left out of leadership most of the time, and it's my biggest cringe when that happens.
Right.
You want to lead. Sometimes you're going to have to protect your people from themselves. You know who's rough around the edges, late to work, or has a certain work. You know who they are.
Right.
Okay. So what standards have you set up? Are you willing to have difficult conversation? Sometimes you're going to have to protect them from you.
Right.
And you have to protect them from your bad days, your vision. I'm a visionary, so I have idea upon idea upon idea. I had a great idea coming here today. I have a team full of inspired and motivated people that work with me and for me.
Right.
I also know they're going to say yes. So I have to protect them from me, because all of a sudden they can burn out because I'm giving them too much.
Right.
Sometimes you have to protect them from clients and customers. I do not say the customer is always right. They can be right, but you could be right somewhere else, because when you treat my staff poorly, it is my job to protect my staff from from a negative environment.
Can be right somewhere else. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. Like, we have to be respectful. I'm big on respect.
Yeah.
And then obviously the decision of how we show up and expectations, like, that's self-explanatory. But that's my definition of leadership. And if you could do that professionally in your professional life and in your personal life, you're leading.
Yeah. Yeah, you may not know this, Andre, because we haven't had necessarily much time one-on-one to chat, but I'm actually a student of leadership. I actually got a degree in it years ago, and part of why I went into it to begin with is similar to you. I saw I saw a lot of burnout, and I also saw a lot of burning of bridges as well. So because there tend to be, as you burn out, you tend to like you said, leave as an asset, not a liability. I've seen so many people leave as a liability because as they're burned out, they're going to burn bridges on their way out. And I saw what I would call a lot of toxic leadership, and I wanted to go to school to learn, like, what name do I put to that? And it turns out there's lots of names for it. But it's also a very humbling experience. I love what you just said about the inward look as well. Protect them from yourselves, because as I went on that journey thinking about other leaders, I very quickly started looking at my own self, my own leadership style. And so, again, being able to put words and theory to it. So, that just made me hearken back to years ago studying leadership. But I just heard a new term for the first time just a few days ago called AI augmented leadership. And it's this notion that leaders are going to have to start integrating, like, AI into not only to the workplace as a tool, but even augmenting even their leadership style. So going back to the Ask Andre AI tool, where did the genesis of that come from?
It was about 2 years ago for me when I really identified that AI was here. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
We were doing other projects as a team, and I knew that we had to get into it. I didn't know what we wanted to do with it, what my vision was, but I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And then it really just hit me because I get emails from whether it's CEOs, vice presidents, you name them, and they say, "Hey, do you have a second? We're having this issue, and we love your guidance with it." And I'm looking at, okay, well, I might be on a plane. Now I get off a plane. Then the time it takes me to get to the email. Then the time it takes for them to read it, respond. It's a lot of time.
Right.
And in the meantime, the bad thing is still happening.
Right.
So I'm like, well, we can collapse time frames on that and put that right in your pocket. Wow. So some of the questions just have been amazing. I'll take it from me when I was burning out, like, because I played with it. Obviously, I had the test version, and so did my team. Hey, I'm burning out, and I got the Sunday blues, and Monday's coming. What can I do? And I'm saying you could talk to it, but I really like the text feature because it goes down the rabbit hole more.
Right.
I've had leaders say, hey, look, I have a grouch employee. However, their work is getting done and is efficient. However, they're draining the culture of our team. What can I do? Because sometimes your grouch employee, you may have a senior position, you may have the title, but they have the power. They've been there 30 years. They're not going anywhere. You're the new person.
Right.
I've had some people say, listen, I have an organization that's creating a role for me. Do I go with this role when I want the title? What should I do?
Right.
From a leadership aspect, my wife just got a new job. She went upstairs, she was going upstairs to her office and said, I want to do some research. And I said, well, ask AI, research on the job from the strategic standpoint. So you're going to have this position. How can you help them strategically? How can you help them internally? How can you help them this? She came downstairs 10 minutes later and was like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
Research was done within seconds. What questions can I ask on my interview? Done within seconds.
Like the increase in productivity is just exponential.
Because you're getting that answer within seconds. And now I was just speaking to a group of judges. Okay. And a person said, this is going to take our jobs. And I said, respectfully, no, it's not. It allows everybody to do their job better.
Right. Right.
And another gentleman said, well, I use this as an option. It tells me what to do and gives me a script and how to do all of these things. My team is going to say, well, who is this guy? I'm not being myself.
Right.
And I said, what would be the difference if you Googled how to be a better leader?
Right.
You took a leadership class on how to be a better leader.
Right.
You took the nuggets from that class or from that Google or from that whatever Instagram reel you saw, and you made it your own and you came in better.
Right.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
AI is not bad. Get the answer.
Yeah.
Extract what you're going to use, if not at all, and it helps make you better quicker.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah.
You mentioned mental health.
Oh, can I add one more thing to the AI
please.
thing? One of the things that I notice about most leaders, when a leader wants to be better, when a leader has a question that they don't know, many times they fail to ask. Why? They fail to ask because either they're too busy to ask,
right,
or the person they would get the answer from is too busy to be found,
right,
or their ego says, I don't want to ask and share that I don't know.
right.
And I could go down the line of why people don't ask, not to mention when you ask, you're not always guaranteed the answer you want. So now we have an emotion of the minute to deal with. Well, my Ask Andre and any AI tool takes that all away. You can ask in the comfort of wherever, whenever, and if you get stuck arguing with your phone, you have a bigger issue. It's you know?
Right.
So it can give you the answer and you don't have to worry about your ego. You don't have to worry about time. You don't have to worry about busy. Boom, it's right there. So that's one of the other reasons I really like it.
Well, thank you for adding that. So you've had quite a non-linear journey from athlete to mental health therapist and now author, speaker, trainer, entrepreneur. I don't want to necessarily talk about all of those parts of the journey in a linear way, but I do just want to quickly ask you about the shift from mental health to like business founder. How did that happen?
Oh, the shift from mental health to business founder. It was, mental health was such a amazing experience because I was invested in helping people and I was a big nerd about my craft. So this only works if you're a nerd about your craft. Like I was on the beach on vacation reading bipolar books. Like now I'm on the beach reading leadership books. Like, so I'm a nerd about whatever I say I love.
Right.
And because that happened to be people and insightful questions and helping people, the transition into helping people in a different way within companies or on stage is nothing but a big group therapy session.
That's a great point.
It's nothing but a big group therapy session. I did group therapy for 20 years, but group therapy is an art form. I used to cringe when I would lead a team, and that therapist on group therapy time 3 times a week would roll in the proverbial TV with the video we're going to watch.
Right.
You just told me that you have not prepared for this. Now, I am blessed with a drop list in my brain. I don't know how it works, but I can think of an issue. This is what we're talking about. This is why we're talking about it. Here's the questions related to it. I can see it in my head.
Right.
So I could prepare 5 minutes before a group therapy session. I'm not saying you should, and I'm not saying I always did, but I could. I have that ability. A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
So doing that for 20 years allows me to go and talk to any group of people or write any type of material or do a video because the format has not changed.
Right.
This is what we're talking about. This is why we're talking about it. And here's the points about it. And here's the questions about it.
Right.
So the transition really became seamless. But with anything, you do it long enough, you just get better at it.
I think that's a great point. There's, on the surface, if you were to talk to someone who's a social worker or counselor and say, hey, you might want to consider getting an MBA, at the surface, initially, it seems like 2 very different things.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, it really is not.
It's not.
It's about people.
Yeah.
It's about, you use the word influence and impact. As at the individual level, as a counselor or social worker, you're trying to influence or impact your client that you're working with.
Yeah.
And in the business context, you're trying to influence and impact leaders that then influence and impact their entire organization.
Absolutely.
In fact, there's a degree called organizational leadership that is called organizational leadership in some schools. But in other colleges, universities, it's actually called organizational psychology, which I think is interesting. And at the surface, it may look like 2 different degrees, but they're not. Because if you think about organizational leadership, you care about the health of the organization. Well, what is the organization? It's just a bunch of people.
A bunch of people.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Now, I will say my time in mental health helped me with the performance side of my job.
Yeah.
For what I do as a professional speaker and author and leadership trainer, there's 4 sides of my job. Right. And so I get calls, or not calls, but emails, or, hey, I want to do what you do. Could you have time?
Right.
So I typically, as long as I have time, I make time. I say yes. I can't say when I'm going to say yes to it, but we'll get on it if I can help anybody collapse time frames. But I tell people that's the performance side.
Right.
But then there's the sales side.
Right.
You do what I do for a living. I'm selling more than I'm on stage.
Right.
And when I walked away from mental health, it took me 3 years to officially do what I do now full time. And I took sales jobs. I worked in death care sales at cemetery for a year. I worked at Bob's Discount Furniture for a year. I was doing odd sales jobs, because I wanted 48 hours on a Monday, Tuesday, days off. And I said, look, 48 hours unabated on my real passion.
Right.
And no other job could give me that. But I picked up sales experience. So I have the sales part. Then you have the leadership part. When you first start as an entrepreneur, most of the time it's just you. But now I have 8 people on my team. I better be a daggone good leader. If all I'm good at is sales and performing, but I can't lead my team, I have turnover, I have all of these. So everything that I teach, I get to do. And the interesting part is while they're editing it, because I don't hire employees. I first had 12 employees. Now I have 8 outsourced experts.
Okay.
So they all have their own business. My job is to lead them so good that they won't leave me to go do their business with other people. And to hear them take off my concepts, repeat stuff back to me and use it for their businesses has been amazing. Wow. And then you have the behind the scenes. It's your daily habits, the things that nobody sees me do on a daily basis. Right. So those are 4 parts. But I will say the mental health aspect, being a leader in the mental health world, and sales. Wow.
Yeah. They tied together. So you mentioned speaker and author, 2 different things, but related. Which came first? And if you had to pick one that you're most passionate about, can you, or are you equally passionate about both?
Speaking, but
Yeah.
I'm more passionate about speaking. But I will say the speaking is better because of the writing.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, speaking is fun. Can be if you're good at it. Just because
Right.
I tell people American Idol, just because you want to sing doesn't mean you can sing.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, but everybody has a book in them. And what
Yeah.
the book does first, I encourage everybody that wants to be a speaker, write first. See, when you speak first, you can start rambling.
Right.
Your thoughts can be out of order. You're worried about time. Okay? When I write first, there's no word count. I can organize my thoughts. Okay, so I've written it. I've now proofed it. Now, when I go to talk about it, whether it's a video or live, well, I know it better. It's more succinct. It's more organized in my head. And then you write often enough, then you have a book. It all completes the circle.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's my job as a professional speaker. Somebody says, hey, you only have 45 minutes, or you have an hour, or you have 4 hours. How do I now create that content to either shrink or stretch?
Right. When I've seen speakers, I think of content, what they're saying, but I also think of their performance as well. It's often like a stage performance. Do you enjoy, obviously you know your content, do you enjoy the performance aspect of it?
The performance aspect of it is natural for me, but got me in trouble when I was an employee.
Okay.
Okay. So, well, 2 things, because I don't want to miss this point. One of the things that I love doing on stage, or if I have a more intimate setting or at a training, just like I used to do in therapy, and I don't think it happens enough in therapy. I ask the audience many times, if it's more than an hour, hey, what do you want to get out of being here? So I can either tell you it's in here, I can customize on the fly, or we can get on the call at some point after.
Right.
And I find when I was a therapist, I used to do that. Typically, I'm not the first therapist you've ever seen. You know how rare it is that the first time you meet with somebody, you're the first therapist they ever had, never been there before?
Right.
So, hey, what do you want to get out of being here today with me or ongoing with me? Okay, so this is what you can expect. So now by the time we're rolling, they're smiling. And I get to say, hey, at some point, because we're vibing right now, at some point, I'm going to have to say something that's going to be hard for you to hear, or ask some questions or challenge you. Is that going to be okay?
Right.
What you just did, nod your head and say, right, that's what they do. So at some point, whether it's 6 months from now, 6 sessions from now, or 6 minutes from now, I get to say, hey, remember that time when I said I might have to say something that's hard? They shake their head just like that. And I say, you ready?
Yeah.
I teach that to this day. So I get your buy-in early. And now it allows me to say all of the things that I know I need to say and can say, and I have you.
Yeah.
The performance part is I'm very passionate. And on stage, I get to hear a lot. And now I'm sure I'm not for somebody. I don't have to be for everybody. I'm not. So I always encourage people, find your people, find the person you enjoy listening to. Because I actually enjoy listening to people that are a lot calmer than me.
Well, you're high energy.
I'm high energy.
Yeah.
I'm ADHD. So when I listen to other people, I prefer a calmer tone. I'm just not calm.
Right.
So I hear about my passion all the time. You're so passionate. You're so passionate. But when I was an employee or a leader at work, I was as passionate about things. And sometimes my leaders didn't like that.
Got it.
It was great if I'm passionate about what you want me to be passionate about, but I'm as passionate when I disagree.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I was in a meeting one time. I was frustrated. And we were in near riot situations every day. A lot of decisions that were made had led up to that. And I was right. And I remember being animated, and I mistakenly hit the table. Now, I'm 6 foot, 210 pounds, and I go to the gym often. So it looked not good.
Right.
So that passion was only rewarded when it was for something that we were doing, not against something that we were doing.
Right.
And it's a learning lesson that we have to do that internal work for ourselves. But when I'm on stage, I literally get to be me.
Yeah.
And be rewarded for it and not have to change. Unless I'm out of country. Other countries, I need to calm down. I was doing some work for some people of French. I'm too much. I need to calm it down a little bit. Or like when if I'm speaking with some, and this is generalizations, but in Germany or from Germany, more stoic.
Was that hard for you to do? Make the shift?
It's not hard.
But you have to think about it.
I have to know where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know where you're at, know who you're talking to. And sometimes I can be that way, but expecting their reaction to be gregarious is not, because that's not their culture. Yeah. So being, you learn that as you go.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you have seen the stats that like the idea of public speaking is like one of the biggest fears.
Yeah.
Did you ever fear it? Like young Andre, when you were like, I don't know, middle school and high school, when you had to get up and do speeches? Or is it just natural to you, or have you like honed your craft over time?
Both. It has been pretty natural when I look back on it. I remember 8th grade. I never forget. I remember 8th grade. I was the MC for the, the annual Christmas show or something like that.
Right.
And I remember I went to Catholic school. And I remember Sister Teresa said, "Oh, well, you're not supposed to be wearing that. You could go home." I said, "You know what? I could." And she looked at me and was like, and I emceed. And so, I mean, when you look back, a lot of times when you're doing what you've been called to do, you typically have been doing it all your life, just in a different way.
Yeah.
Like I remember I was the guy that, I'm on the phone with people and they're telling me their problems. I remember being 14, 15 years old. Always been helping people. You've always been doing your magic.
Right.
Either you're doing it now for somebody, you're doing it personally in your personal life, or you found a way to make it your own and, reap the rewards from it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we talk about here at the Lincoln Center is this idea of the butterfly effect. That's why the butterflies are our logo, because of this idea that in like one moment in time, you could have someone in your life make a comment, say a kind word, make a choice, do act of service. And from that one little moment in time, that one little small act, that one choice or that one connection, it kind of ripple effects. Mm-hmm. And so as you think back to young Andre in the 8th grade, and can you recall a moment or a person that kind of like had this like huge kind of ripple effect? You didn't know it at the time, but then you look back on it, kind of ripple effect.
I know the answer to this question. And it's unfortunate but fortunate at the same time, because I don't. I was very fortunate to have both my mom and my dad in my life, where a lot of my friends did not. I learned a lot of unconscious things where my mom was always very open. We could tell her anything. So I took that from her. And my dad was very disciplined. I thought the man slept in a suit. I always saw him in a suit. He worked in a bank.
Right.
So I learned a lot of things, but I learned so much of what not to do growing up in a rough area. I grew up inner city Philly, and the things that I saw at ages, 9 years old.
Community trauma, basically.
It really, like, it pains my heart to the older I get, the more it pains my heart. I can almost feel like I want to cry when I saw some of the things that I saw on a regular basis. And I remember my parents let me be me, and I liked staying in the house and doing all these things. And then eventually I got older and I started getting in trouble. And I went to my senior year. I only played my senior year of high school. I left my 10th grade year with 4 Fs, 2 Ds, and a C. And now I didn't know how to explain it. I have ADHD, and I remember being in school at that time, and I couldn't understand the teacher. She was speaking English, but I couldn't understand her. And I didn't have the words to say that. Football saved my life. I transferred to my high school, and my grades were so bad, I couldn't play my junior year. So I played semi-pro with grown men, 30-year-old, 20-year-old men, and made the team and, did a good job. And I didn't, we didn't get paid so I can play my senior year. And I played 1 year. I went to college, but I was in and out of trouble in college. And the scary thing was I was the good kid where I was from. I wasn't selling drugs. I wasn't killing anybody. I hadn't been to jail, but I was aggressive. I didn't know that. And I remember it was the defining moment. It was my 3rd year in. and I was facing getting kicked out of school. And I was going to, I was not the person sitting in front of you now, but at my core, I was. And I remember looking around and I said to myself, I've swam too far to swim back. I'm more than halfway. Why would you swim back? I gotta finish. And it was at that moment, it was like that, blink of an eye, change. And I made a decision. And there's been a few times in my life where I've made vows to myself. I have a 22-year-old son. We're meeting tomorrow to discuss this same thing with him.
Yeah.
There's sometimes too many of us will stand at an altar and make vows to another person before we even understand ourselves or what those vows mean.
Wow.
And very few of us ever make vows to ourselves. I vowed, I'm going to finish. I'm going to make it. Later on in life, I vowed that I wasn't going to be in poverty anymore and I was going to make it in my business.
Yeah.
I made vows to me. So I encourage you listening, make some vows to you. Nobody else got to know about it. But that was a defining moment, and I'm proud to say I gave it to myself.
Wow. That's powerful.
Thank you.
Is that one of your books? That story?
I don't think that story is.
Okay.
It's in a book coming up. As a lot of people say, we want to hear. There's a bunch of stories in my books, right. But my next book, which I am not even considering writing right now, but I know it's going to be called Andre Young, and it's going to be more of personal leadership life stories.
I see.
From chronologically,
well, that
from young to old.
That story is a good candidate for that one then.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So that's book at least number 6.
That'd be 6.
At least 6.
I need a minute though.
Well, real quickly, just talk about your 5 books. Like one of them is 7 Ways to Lead in the Leader's Toolbox. Yeah, mention like one of the 5. You can mention all 5 if you like, or just mention one in particular and like go a little bit deeper on that. Like for example, with the 7 Ways to Lead in the Leader's Toolbox, what's that one idea or tool that listeners can start using?
Well, I love that because 7 Ways to Lead was my first leadership book, and it houses in Way 7 Ways to Lead. Way 7 is the Leader 7, and had I do over again, I would have made that the whole book. And it's the 7 professional languages of leadership. Very, very similar to the 5 love languages from Gary Chapman. I love that book, Gary Chapman. If you're listening, you knocked that out of the park. My issue with taking the love languages into work is, look, I'm physical touch and quality time. I better not be physically touching on anybody at work the way I'm talking about it. And quality time, I don't need that with my people. I know what they want and what I can give. And so that doesn't always work in task-based things or in the workforce. So these 7 languages do. So very quickly, you're a leader or a coworker. There are some employees that are highly motivated, impacted, feel inspired and protected by goodie time. They want that lunch. They want those hoagie days, those donuts or whatever. Quality minutes, a few minutes of conversation that have nothing to do with work.
Right.
Recognition and affirmation, that pat on the back for doing a good job.
Yeah.
You got to know how to give it. Is it in private or public? Some people are very freaked out by public. Right. Some people want a parade. So know how to give it. Knowledge and or advancement. Some of your people want knowledge and advancement. They want to be you one day. They want to move up.
Yep.
Where other people are the steady stream. They're fine where they are. They want to be great where they are. They want knowledge, but they don't want to advance, at least not now. Or they've advanced to the point they're comfortable.
Right.
Incentives. Some people want more for a job greatly done.
Yeah.
Or extra work.
Right.
Flexibility. Some people want to work in a flexible manner or have their ideas be flexibly put into things. And then lastly, respect. Manners, pleases, and thank yous, positive emails, like, email etiquette, time of day of sending emails, manners.
Right.
I naively thought that everybody would pick the top 2 of respect and something else. That's not the case. So I get to be on stages or go to companies and teach, how do you speak these 7 languages? Because as leaders, we got to speak all 7.
Right.
How do you speak these 7 in casual times? walking through the office, in emails, your one-on-one meetings, team meetings. And then how do you speak them in difficult conversations? Most leaders
Right.
do not want to have the difficult conversation.
Right.
So how do you use their language in it? So that's been from the 7 Ways to Lead. That way 7 is probably, that's my baby. That's my biggest baby, that if I did nothing else for the rest of my life, I can travel the world teaching just that.
Wow. You mentioned Gary Chapman as possible inspiration for that. When did you first get introduced to him? Was it through a book or through a talk? Did you see him or did you read him?
That's a really good question. I don't remember. I'm a big nerd, like I said, so I read.
Well, that was the follow-up question. It's like I was first introduced to him through his book, and then I was wondering, are there? You're obviously have a lot. You draw upon a lot of experience, but you are also obviously very well read. And so, as you think back of the leadership books that you have read, or is there any book or books that kind of pop out as like really formative?
Oh yeah, yes. So I like. There's one book for entrepreneurs. It's called The Pumpkin Plan. I remember that. That was really good. If you're an entrepreneur, from a leadership perspective, I really liked The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team.
Yeah.
I liked how that was written.
Patrick Lencioni.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love all his stuff.
Yeah.
Like he's like the Jordan of leadership books at this point. It was John Maxwell and now Patrick. I really like the 6 Working Geniuses. I thought that was well written. There's a book that I like, and I don't like the title. Okay. It's called Surrounded by Idiots.
Okay.
I'm big on language. I don't like anybody being called an idiot. However, the preface is that there's, I think it's 4 colors: yellow, green, red, and blue.
Okay.
And the author, I forget who it is saying that the reds are more type A, forward, boom, we're moving forward, and they don't really take into consideration other people's feelings.
Right.
Then you have the yellows. I'm a high yellow, and then it's more, you're more empathic, you're more people-oriented, and then you have the greens, who are pretty your steady streams. They show up to work every day, but they're not going to say much and do much. And then they talk about the blue, they're more analytical. Right. So if you're a blue, you feel like a red is an idiot. Right. And then, down all of the colors. But it even goes deeper and talks about how the roles reverse when they're at parties and then alcohol is involved. And it really is a great read. I wish it would change the title. That was really, really good. So those are a few of the books I really like.
All right, that's good. I hadn't heard of that last one. I'm going to have to check that one out. One big lesson that you've learned early in leadership that still guides you today?
I have 2. One is definitely asking, 3. So 1, know people 7. And you're going to use those 7 languages. You're going to ask it annually. Last thing you want to do is be speaking to someone in their old language. My assistant has been with me 4 years. Her top 2 languages have changed 3 times. So that was a big lesson. The second lesson is always knowing why people are still there. We ask in an initial interview why you want the job. What do you think? We have all of these profound questions. And then we never ask another question.
Right.
Okay. So I ask on my sales calls, I don't like to call them that, but my calls, what do you want to get out of bringing someone like me in? And they're going to tell me their pain, and either I have the medicine or I don't. So I always say I can either match it to what I have, customize, create, or refer. Okay. But with your people, you're leading a team. Why are you here? What do you want to get out of working here this year? So now that we've just launched the new book and the Ask Andre, well, we have time that we can get back to the process and now special interest projects. What do you want to get out of working with us this year? And because I know my vision and I know the vision factors, and now it's my job to make my yeses powerful and my nos meaningful. So my no is never personal. What you want to get out of it is not tied to where we're going. But maybe I can help. Maybe you want to take a class. Okay, as an incentive, I can help pay for a class.
Right.
So just because it's not related to us, we can get you there. So I guess those are my 2 big things. Speak to 7. Lastly, the one-on-one meetings.
Okay.
That one right there is my mind boggles that is still the number one canceled and rescheduled meeting across companies. However, it is the most important meeting that you can have. It's the one meeting that allows you to get human to human with somebody so quickly, and it enhances and increases traction of production more than any other meeting. You could have your team meeting. First off, just here's a leadership tip. Just because you said it in a team meeting doesn't mean people got it.
Right.
So you could go to your next team meeting and then nothing was done, and now you're having 17 meetings about the same meeting.
Right.
So that one-on-one meeting, what I say is, look, schedule it for 25 minutes. If you don't have 25 minutes, you got bigger issues. Schedule them 3 months out. So we're going to meet October 21st, November 21st, and not December 21st. That's a little crazy, but you know what I mean.
Right.
So we're GT, you and I are set.
Yep.
My flow is, hey, you know where we start. What's your positive of the week? The first time I'm going to share my positive of the week, professionally and personally. Why? Most people have never been asked that question in their life. They ask how they're doing. And most people now will vent or gripe. Okay? So, and then the first time I'm going to go to give you time to think and a model of how to answer. After that, never again, unless you ask me. So, hey, you know where we start? What's your positive of the week? Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know your son did this, or you were going to North Carolina. I don't know. Who knows what that person's going to say?
Right.
Okay, so hey, next, what would you like to get out of our meeting here today, GT? Again, I have no idea what you're going to say. Oh, I like to do this, or I was thinking this, or this was on my list, or I don't have anything. Nothing's going on. Great.
Yeah.
Next is mesh goals. The meeting, not accident. I called it, remember?
Right.
So I have things, GT, that I want you to focus on, or we need to focus on, or questions that I have. And by the way, what's on your list? Protecting you. Why are you doing so much? Or, hey, I didn't know that you had this much on. Let's reprioritize.
Right.
Or maybe I need to teach you how to say no, or give you permission to say no to another department.
Right.
Now here's our plan. So over the next month, based on what you wanted to get out of it and my meshing goals, this is what we're doing over the next week or month, depending on how often you're having it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then lastly, hey, GT, what was your biggest takeaway from our meeting today? They always get to leave saying something good, because when they walk out that door, life is going to gut punch them. And at least now they feel like they got something good that they're going to go talk to somebody else about.
Right.
This meeting is worthwhile all the time for them because you end with that question.
I feel like I just got a free executive coaching session. So that last one is one I just personally, if I'm honest here, that I struggle with. And it wasn't modeled for me very well in corporate America. One-on-ones happen very rarely. And when they were scheduled, to your point, they're often rescheduled. Yeah, I don't know why. I'd have to give it more thought on why it was never prioritized. And because it was modeled that way, as a practice of leadership, I don't really model that either as in terms of one-on-ones. Now, I do have small, intimate team meetings with my direct reports. There's just 6 of us. And I feel like we accomplish a lot of that. But you've challenged me, so thank you. So thank you for that. I have to go back and think and reflect, and yeah, that was good. Thank you. All right, so Evolve is in the name of your company, right? What's your name?
Yes, You
Evolving Now.
Yep.
So let's shift to some personal questions. How do you personally stay evolved? And how do you keep your energy and your focus?
Wow. One, I think part of that is ingrained. And then I have a lot of things that I do that if it's not ingrained in you, you can still do.
Right.
So, I remember, I was playing high school ball, college ball. I'm on that field by myself at 12 o'clock in the hottest part of the day doing drills and running. So that part is just whatever I like or whether I love, you're going to find me doing it.
Right.
So what I do for me is a lot. I really break down, if you were to break down, my friend talks about the 5 pillars. He says, from spiritual, from your mental health, relationally, spiritually, financially, and then also for yourself.
Yeah.
So I do believe in me time. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I am not suggesting you wake up at 4:30 in the morning. However, I like to start moving and get my day going before the world is up.
Is that the workout?
No,
okay.
I have attempted, tried. I've done workouts in the morning. It is not for me.
Okay. All right.
It is not for me. But that's for me to set I'm very spiritual. I have outside, we live on this big hill.
Mm-hmm.
Need like the staff of Moses to get up this hill.
Right.
So I have birds flying above me and below me,
Right.
but not at 5 o'clock in the morning. So
Right.
I sit out there in the still of the night and I pray. I say my prayers and I get my day ready. I jump into work and I'm unabated. Nobody's up asking or needing anything, and I don't touch my emails first thing. That's a huge thing for me. I don't touch my emails first thing. I'm big on, from physical standpoint, some type of body movement. Like not everybody's going to work out the way I work out, but doing something for your body to feel healthy.
Yeah.
And if you like it, maybe people like shopping. Find them all if you can, and walk around it. Like make it fun for you.
Right.
Spiritually, whatever that means for you. I tell all my kids, whatever you choose to believe, please make sure it's just bigger than you. Because when the stuff hits the fan, I've never seen anybody drop to their knees and pray to themselves. Your friends matter. And the more successful you become, the more intentional you have to become about your group. I am not big on, you rarely have to cut people out of your life. That's a rare thing. But you do have to be intentional about who you add to your life.
Yeah.
Okay? So I have people that I can get together with college and high school friends and laugh. Nobody cares that I'm a professional speaker, just got off a plane. Nobody cares, And I need that. Then I have my entrepreneur friends that I can grow and build with and celebrate with. Then I have me time where it's really just me. I call it a 10-minute sit. I sit down and stare into space for 10 minutes and I can take a thought down a rabbit hole. Most importantly, whatever you're doing for your mental health, your relationships, your spirituality, your physicalness, and your finances, schedule it and put it in your daggone calendar. Because busy beats us all. Nobody cares. Your success and your future self does not care what you meant to do.
Yeah.
Who cares what you meant to do? You either did it or you didn't. And most of us will fail to do it because it's not in our calendar. I am here today with you because it was in my calendar.
Right.
I woke up on Sunday. I looked at what my week is going to be. Oh, I'm with GT this week. Fantastic. But how many of us don't put ourselves in our calendar?
Right.
We don't put the gym in our calendar. We don't have a date with our spouse on our calendar. We don't have a date with our kids on the calendar, but we're all busy.
Yeah.
You will work what's around your calendar. You will work whatever's in your calendar, you'll work around it.
There's some wisdom there too. Is that in one of your 5 books?
That is.
Okay. All right.
That is.
That's good. Busy beats all. I like that. When people think about your impact as a leader and a person, what do you hope they remember the most about you? What is your legacy?
I want my legacy to be that their life was better professionally and personally because I existed. Because I existed, people's lives, not only at work and the people that they impacted was better. They went home better. When I leave stage, people talk about the 5 points of my day. I have men and women come and tell me, your point number 4 of how we return home, as leaders, we need to show up home the same way we want our employees showing up to work.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny that when their husbands and wives ask for the same thing, it's World War III? Now it's a fight, but I said it on stage and I'm right.
Right.
So I love that I get to impact people at work and at home. And with this Ask Andre, even for my kids, I said, if I die tomorrow, I'm such at peace that my answers to whatever question you have is in your pocket. You hit me forever, no matter what happens to me.
Right.
And I talked with my wife and I said, yes, I'm going to put another book out. Yes, there'll be more videos. Yes, there'll be more of me in the world. But if I died right now, my work is complete.
Wow.
My work is complete. The 5 books that I've put out so far, this Ask Andre and what I've left in the social media world, I can die satisfied.
I'm assuming this Ask Andre app has been trained on all your books and all your content. Does it speak in your voice?
No. I didn't want that. I thought I did.
Okay.
I thought I did.
Right.
And in using it in testing, I like that it says, well, Andre says, or from Andre's thing, and it wouldn't have been as powerful as my voice. And I'm also, this is the first time I said this recorded. I'm big on respect. One of my top 2 languages is respect. So I didn't want to create anything that could be a problem in somebody's home where they're like, well, who you listening to? Or who's this?
Right.
And there's his face and all of that. Like,
Right.
I like that it's neutral, that anybody can pull it out anywhere and do and use it anywhere, anytime, at home or with their significant other or with their kids. And nobody has to say, well, who's that? I'm big on that. So yeah, first time I've said that out loud.
So, and you did a lot of thinking about that. I mean, you thought through all the different pathways. I mean, so yeah, you gave that a lot of thought. That's powerful too. Yeah, I have some rapid fire questions.
Yeah,
you ready for
I love
that?
that. Yeah.
One word that best describes great leadership.
That's tough. One word is care. I'm going to say care because we can go down a rabbit hole on that. But yeah,
Biggest misconception people have about work-life harmony.
that it needs to be balanced.
Daily habit or ritual that helps you stay evolved.
I ask myself every day, what am I going to do to be great today as a man, a husband, a father, and a leader?
Okay. Which book besides your own has most influenced your approach to leadership or life?
The Dream Manager. I have a story about that. That's
Okay.
a good one.
If you could give every new leader one sentence of advice, what would it be?
Know your leaders 3.
Okay.
Know your vision factors, those 3 to 5 things that when you or your team does them consistently, the vision has to come true. Know your expectations and your rules. That's your leaders 3. If you don't know them, how are your people supposed to know them? And it makes your yeses more powerful and your no's more meaningful when you say it because you know where you're going. You're not just making it up.
All right, good. Let's unpack number 4 there, which talk a little bit more about that book.
The Dream Manager.
Yeah.
My first big meeting with a company that we didn't sign with. I was so happy at that time to even have meetings. I used to, hey, we have a meeting, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And in that meeting, the guy said, I like what you're doing. Here, read this book. And I read The Dream Manager. It was about a gentleman that had started a company and he wanted to know the dreams of his people. And that's one of my questions, my 7 interview questions. What's your dream? And also in one of the chapters in the book, they were taking a tour. And the person he was touring, so he was the CEO, the person he was touring with said, that guy in the office is sitting at his desk with his feet up and his head behind his head. I would fire that guy on the spot. And he says, well, I wouldn't do that because he's our thinker.
Mm.
You know, everybody's role is important, but everybody's roles look different.
Right.
And you really want to maximize people's superpower. To put a thinker in a doer job, you're not asking for good results.
Right.
You know?
That's good.
Yeah.
Final question. What question have I not asked you yet that you would thought that I would or hoped that I would?
My biggest mistake as a leader.
Okay.
I know my biggest mistake was accepting the leadership position because it was the next logical step. I think many people are promoted for all the wrong reason, and many people accept the promotion for all the wrong reason. So many people are promoted because they did their old job really good, which tends to not be people. And then now the company has lost their best worker and maybe gained their greenest or worst leader. But I accepted it because it was my next logical step. I just got my master's degree. This is the next logical step. I had no idea what it meant to be a leader. And had I would have gotten a vision together, those leaders 3, the vision and vision factors, the expectations, the rules, had some difficult conversations with now I'm now leading my old friends. Like we were all friends yesterday and now all of a sudden I'm their boss. I had no questions or preface statements that I now teach. And although it went well, I could have really made some significant impact and change in that building. And also got clarification of my authority span. What does the company expect of me most right now? Like there's so much that stuff that I know now that I would have, but everything happens for a reason. Had I known all of that and been even better at the job, maybe I'm not sitting here in front of you.
Yeah. For those who want to continue the discussion with you through either executive coaching, have you come in as a speaker, how do they contact you?
Easiest thing is my website.
Okay.
youevolvingnow.com. It's YOU evolvingnow.com. And everything that you want is there, from some free videos, but my books are there. Ask Andre is there. We have an online program there as well. Contact information, everything that you need is there. So please check it out. Reach out to me. And I tell everybody, I love to get on a Zoom call with people and really have great conversation at the very least. And at the very most, let's create impact where you are.
Yeah. And I'll just put in a plug for you. We just recently hired you to speak to our staff of 200 plus people, and you did a phenomenal job, and our staff just loved you. And so, ended up purchasing your books as well and gave copies of those. So, if anybody looking for a referral, they can call me, and I'll definitely refer you. So
I love that.
Thank you again for your time. This is fantastic. Thank you.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
TLC Connections is supported in part by the Lincoln Center for Family and Youth through education, counseling, coaching, and consulting. We empower people to make positive choices, meaningful connections, and transformational change. To learn more, visit thelincolncenter.com.